good morning. I'm Barry O'Brien. We're here from the mayor's office with West Palm Beach Mayor Jerry Muoio. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning, Barry.
And we want to thank our friends at Cosmo and Company for allowing us the opportunity to do this. We record this in Mayor Muoio's office every, normally on Wednesdays, Wednesday mornings, which it is right now. And we have a press availability where all the TV and radio stations and newspapers can come in and ask questions. I can always tell when it's a busy week or not, depending upon how many cameras there are out there. And it was fairly busy this morning.
We had a room full.
Yeah, I'll also tell you that it seems like it was only yesterday when I would be in a room like this, and I'm the youngest person here, and now I look around. And,
not anymore, Barry.
And the tables have turned. Oh, anyway, well, we have had a interesting week this week. I've got a few things. What I like about doing this after the press availability is it gives me the opportunity to see whether my questions are right on, and maybe follow up on some of the questions that they've asked, and kind of get the story behind the story. There's a lot of talk now about up in the north side. I mean, certainly, I think everybody agrees that downtown West Palm Beach is poised for a rebound simply because of all of the upbeat real estate news. But things now seem to be shifting a little bit farther north, and the CRA has made a proposal which the city commissioners met and discussed yesterday with a lot of changes up in that area. Would you care to discuss some of that with us in the Curry Park area? When you look at some of the plans that I saw that were in the Palm Beach Post, it looks like there's some very interesting and aggressive things going on up there.
Yeah, we're really excited. We had RMA, which is a private company, come in and do a visioning exercise with the North End. So they took a week, and they were actually located right in Northwood Village. Invited people to come in.
Oh, I remember that. That was about 3 weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm. And as a result of all of the input they got, they put a plan together for moving forward with the redevelopment of the north end of the city. So last night at the commission meeting, we heard about their proposals for the Curry Park area and for the Broadway area. Curry Park right now is poised to move forward in a big way. What we did last night is we said to them it was okay with the commission for them to move forward with changing the land use regulations for that area. Right now they're under something called CMUD, the Curry Park Mixed Use District, and the rules under that were prohibitive to development. So one of the first things we decided would be to change those rules so they were more open to having development in the Curry Park area. We looked at several possibilities of how that might play out, and the RMA and the CRA working together will put together a proposed set of changes for the zoning and land use regulations in the Curry Park area. So we're looking at attracting a restaurant there, building up the boat dock, having some more recreational areas, certainly having more housing, multifamily housing. We've got some developers who have already by rights ability to build multifamily housing there, and they're moving forward. They're ready to get going.
Sure. Once you get the commitment from the developer and somebody to put in a nice upscale condo building there, that will bring a lot of people in there. And
the proposed changes would include a change to height limits to make it up to eight stories. I think you'll see some really exciting things going on in that area in the next 2 or 3 years.
I went to dinner with my wife and some friends on Saturday night in Northwood, and I couldn't believe how busy it was there. I had not been down there that recently, but one thing that I thought was interesting, if you go back about 3 or 4 weeks, I think you and I were discussing the fact of the DDA was making a proposal to take over some parking spaces on Clematis Street and make them into little parks, maybe take 2 parking spaces, and the city was, somebody was going to reimburse the city for the parking or whatever, but there were discussions of that and all kinds of planning. Well, when I got down to Northwood, it seemed like
They
it
do
was the
that.
Wild West. But it would, I mean, there were bans out
Yeah.
in taking up parking spaces.
Yeah.
I mean, do they actually have permits to do this? Or do they just kind of decide, oh, I'd like those 2 parking spaces?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that.
No answer to that. So,
Yeah, well, and one night I was there, and they were setting off fireworks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not watching this right now. But it's a lot of fun there. People are out on the street a lot, and it makes it
Right.
very vibrant.
And one thing that I thought was very positive, and I really didn't know what to. This was a friend of mine from Providence who owns a condo down here, so he spends winter. He tells me more about the restaurants than I know, even though I live here full time. And he told us about the Cafe Centro and the piano bar, at which I sang, I might add. But I was very pleasantly surprised that the valet parking across the street was $4. Now, I sometimes, by Florida standards, people may think that's expensive.
I know.
$4 to park your car across the street.
You and I have
was-
lived places where it costs $34.
Right. I mean, I thought that was very good. Now, it did seem that in that Northwood area, it was really limited to a 2-block area, and there are certainly a couple of blocks further down and one street over that have definitely got potential to
Well,
build on it.
and they already are. That's probably, Northwood Road is probably the most visible area. We have some property at the end of Northwood Road that we're wanting to develop so that it will draw people down that way. There's certainly more shops on the end of the Northwood Road, so during the day, if people are shopping, you'll see more people. And I want to also say that the last Friday of every month, we have an art and wine promenade on Northwood Road and throughout Northwood. And you can walk along the street. They have wine tasting, they have music outside, there's arts and crafts vendors, there's galleries are open, shops are open, and so it's a really great time
Yeah,
to
that
get to
sounds like
know
fun.
get to know Northwood. It is fun.
That's great. All right, I'm Barry O'Brien. We're with West Palm Beach Mayor Jerry Moyo from the mayor's office. We're going to take a brief break here and hear from Cosmo and Company, and then we'll be right back. And we're right back. I'm Barry O'Brien. We're here in West Palm Beach Mayor Jerry Moyo's office, from the mayor's office here on CV Radio. There was another talk today. I guess there was a DDA board meeting yesterday. I didn't make that one. They're still talking about this potential trolley to go back and forth between downtown and the outlet mall. And yesterday, while nobody seems to have come up with the 50 grand to make this happen, which I guess is the cost for 3 months. They're discussing adding Northwood, as we were just talking about, and City Place as potential stops in here. Any thoughts on this? Is this something that can happen? Where's the funding for this going to come from?
Well, I think it's a great idea, and I would like for us to, we're talking about a pilot, the DDA is talking about a 3-month pilot to see if how it would work. And I think that's a good way to approach it. So we're going to do that. The funding is going to have to come from a variety of sources. The DDA, the CRA, City Place, the city. I think we're all going to have to pitch in a little bit and see how it goes, because I think and then we'll see if it benefits those folks, and if it does, then it'll be a good reason to put more money into it.
Right. Would you see charging any sort of a fare, a nominal fare, or do you think it's just not even worth the?
Everybody I've talked to who has any understanding of transit says you can't charge enough to cover the costs.
Oh, no, of course not.
And I would rather take a look and see how we can do it without charging.
Well, you might be able to find a sponsor or something
Maybe.
to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I saw
I hope the mall will consider chipping in, and I hope City Place will consider chipping in, and we'll see what we can do.
I read something in the reporting of yesterday's commission meeting, and apparently they had a vote, and it would become up for the final approval in April. And I wanted to get your take on this. It was for 9.69 acres of land. It's apparently the city owns on Ernest Street near Haverhill. I keep wanting to say Haverhill because I'm from Massachusetts. And it says that what they are planning on doing here is of selling this 9.69 acres of land for $1.6 million to Lennar Homes, which is a home developer. And as a City of West Palm Beach taxpayer, I want to ask, I look at this and I go, okay, how is this price determined? And is something like, when you have land that is determined to be surplus land, is this actually listed for sale? Were other developers other than Lennar aware of this and able to do it? Could I feel comfortable that 1.6 million is the highest and best use that we could get for that?
Well, Lennar came to us because they have a development immediately adjacent to this property. So they came to us and said they were interested in purchasing the property. Before we declare anything surplus and sell it, we have to have 2 appraisals. So we had 2 appraisals done, and they came back with an appraised valuation of 1.62 and 1.69 million. The original offer was given before the appraisals were done, so when we brought this to the commission wisely said, well, why aren't we looking at the appraised value? 1.6 is less than 1.62. And that was an excellent point to bring up. So in between the first reading and the second reading, we're going to go back to Lennar and say, you need to give us more money for this. So it's based on an appraisal.
So this was kind of like a one-off thing where you really weren't thinking about this piece of land. Somebody said I could use it and whatever.
Right.
Okay. Do you see, does the city own a lot of unused property?
We own a lot of property. The city and the CRA, we own a lot of property. Most of it is single-family houses that have gone into foreclosure. We've taken over, not into foreclosure, but we've taken over because they've been abandoned. Right now, one of the things that I have been pushing for as mayor is to have a complete accounting of all of the properties we own. So we're just starting out. We're not just starting out, we've been working on putting that together, and what we're starting is we've just hired a new GIS manager, so we're going to get that all into a system where we can click on a property, know who owns it, know what kind of utilities are there, be aware of the topography and everything that we need to know. So we have a map with all the properties we own, and we'll be inputting that into our GIS system.
Very good. Well, we've got Earth Day coming up, or did I miss Earth Day? Isn't it like April 20th or something? I remember it started in the 70s.
I know.
We had all these Earth Day
I keep
things.
thinking it's like today, but I don't know.
Maybe it is today.
I don't know. I don't think it's today, but.
Well, tell us a little bit about, in the 1 minute that we have left, what the city's doing to keep us green here.
Well, we have a very active sustainability department, and we are out there. We have pledged to decrease our carbon footprint by 20% by the time 2020 comes along. So in doing that, we have switched out all of the streetlights that we own to LED lights. We've also worked with FPL, and they will be switching out all of the streetlights that they own to LED. About half the streetlights, well, most of the streetlights in the city are owned by the city. About 1,600 of them are actually owned by FPL. So all the streetlights in the city will be LED lights. That's going to save us money on the cost because they're more fuel efficient, more efficient, and on maintenance because they last longer and we need fewer maintenance people as a result. We've also have solar panels. Our building on the waterfront or pavilion is the LEED certified. Oops. You want me to finish?
No, you can finish.
LEED certified silver building, the only one in our city. We have solar panels in our downtown, and we have electric charging stations in our garage, 5 in our Clematis Street garage.
Free gas, but it's free electricity. I like that.
I don't think it's free.
No, it's not free. It's not free. All right, well, we do have to wrap it up here. I'm Barry O'Brien. We're here with West Palm Beach Mayor Jerry Muoio from the Mayor's Office. Thank you to Cosmo and Company, and we will see you back here next week.
Thank you.
All right.